Rachel Zegler has done it again. First, she butchered Snow White, then she ghosted from the internet, and now she's back. Not with an apology, not with accountability, but with a sick dog and an Instagram story begging for help. So, let me get this straight. Rachel Zegler disappears after tanking Snow White, comes back after weeks of silence, and the first thing she posts about is her dog having explosive diarrhea? Girl, you fumbled a fairy tale, dodged every ounce of accountability, and now you're crying on Instagram because your dog ate some bad kibble and won't stop pooping? You really can't make this up. In the Instagram post, she said that her dog, Lenny, has crazy diarrhea and she doesn't know what to do. I wish I were joking about the term crazy diarrhea, but that's the actual phrase she used. So, let's talk about this post. Imagine being a rich celebrity with access to the best vets, the best care, and all the resources in the world, and instead of trusting in their advice, you go on Instagram and ask your followers for advice. She's literally asking, "What do I do?" Rachel, you take him to the vet and follow their advice. You don't crowdsource medical advice for your dog from 13-year-olds in your DMs. And to make it even worse, she mentions that she's flying to Dubai with the dog. Yes, she's taking a sick, barely holding it together dog on an international flight. If Lenny really can't hold it in, I can imagine what that flight will be like. Many believe that this isn't a pet emergency, it's a sympathy stunt. Now, you are not ready for the internet's reaction. Because it was brutal. Some said the dog probably watched Snow White, and that's what made him sick. Others said, of course the dog is sick. He's living with Rachel Zegler. There were comments saying she's following the Meghan Markle PR playbook. Bad press followed by a personal sob story to gain sympathy. And honestly, that's exactly what it looks like. People also pointed out something very real. If your dog is really that sick, as in can't stop going to the bathroom and has no energy, why on earth are you dragging him across continents? That's not love, that's a lack of common sense. Look, I love dogs. Everyone does. We all feel bad when an animal's in pain. But what people are seeing isn't just a girl with a sick pet. What they're seeing is someone who tried to distract from criticism by suddenly playing the victim. Let's not forget, Rachel didn't get backlash for nothing. She was dismissive, rude in interviews, and outright disrespectful to the stories she was paid millions to lead. And instead of owning that, she waited until things cooled down and returned to the internet holding a metaphorical sign that read, "Feel bad for me, my dog is unwell." It's not working. People are smarter than that now. They can tell the difference between a genuine moment and a carefully timed PR move. And this screamed, "Please forget what I said about Snow White. Look at my puppy instead." Here's the truth. Rachel Zegler isn't the first celeb to try the sympathy route, and she won't be the last. But timing matters. So does intention. When your dog gets sick, and it happens, we get it. You go to a vet. You don't start crying on Instagram, hoping the public will suddenly forgive your Hollywood drama just because your doodle has the runs. It feels manipulative. It feels strategic. And most of all, it feels out of touch, so people didn't hold back from calling it out. The comment section looks like a crime scene. Let's start with the tone setter. Someone said, "Of course the dog is sick. He saw her movie and almost dropped dead." At this point, the dog's vet should just prescribe a different movie, like anything else. Another person added, "Her dog is sick of her just like the rest of us." One person even asked the most important question of all, what in the name of Richard Stilgo is crazy diarrhea? And you know what? That's valid. Like, girl, we're not in a Pixar movie. You can just say your dog's sick, not turn it into a BuzzFeed headline. And I have to bring this up. Someone actually went there and said, "She killed West Side Story, Hunger Games, Snow White, and now the dog. The Rachel Zegler curse is real." The curse is real? Bro, that's not even a comment. That's an urban legend. Someone called the Conjuring writers. Oh, and let's not forget this one. If I were the dog, I'd poison my own food to get away from her. What? Sir, that was violent. The dog community might file a defamation lawsuit just from reading that. Another called it like they saw it. She's got money, she needs to pay for her dog to get help because people are too busy lining up at her movie, so she said. Ouch. That one is gonna leave a scar. Oh, and I cannot leave this one out. Maybe Snow Brown and the 7 genders can help her figure it out. That person woke up and chose violence. They didn't even sip coffee before typing that. Straight rage. Now, let me be clear, these comments do not just mean that people aren't heartless, they care about pets. But they're not going to forget everything else Rachel has said and done just because she posted a sad story and a photo of her sick dog. Especially when, let's be real, the public already feels like they've been crapped on too. Metaphorically, of course. You remember this?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that. I mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed.
One of the most unlikable humans
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the apple.
From the moment she started doing interviews, things went downhill fast. Instead of celebrating the role, she trashed it. She called the prince a stalker, dismissed the original movie as outdated, and basically acted like she was being forced to play a character she had zero respect for. She just couldn't stop running her mouth. That's why people are not holding back. Someone else commented, "She's trying to be a Disney character in real life, but in the worst way possible." Yeah, like imagine Snow White, but instead of singing to animals, she's filming their poop for Instagram engagement. That's just magical. And this guy just exposed her whole scheme, desperately trying to remain relative after her movie flopped, thinking we've all forgotten about her woke nonsense. One person really put it into perspective. She wants sympathy for her dog, but she called the prince in the original movie a stalker. You insulted everyone's childhood and now want a hug because your dog's got the trots? I can go on and on with these comments, but I will end it at this one. So here's some free advice. Next time your dog gets sick, call a vet, not your followers. And if you're serious about rebuilding your image, start with honesty. Start with accountability, not poop stories and puppy eyes. Because right now, this whole thing is embarrassing, especially for that poor dog who just wants a nap and some rice. Not an Instagram debut. I hope Lenny gets better soon. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like and subscribe button because we've got more drama, more disasters, and definitely more PR fails coming your way. See you guys in the next one.